So we know the importance of children having access to books that they can see themselves. In addition to books being mirrors where kids can see themselves, books serve as a window to where children can see the outside world itself. As you know all too well, certain individuals are shattering those mirrors and breaking the windows. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, PEN America recently came out with a report showing that of all the books banned across the nation, a full 40% of books bans have taken place right here in Florida. These aren't just attacks on students' freedoms to read or your freedom to teach. Since stories are what make us human, these attacks on books from extreme groups are themselves attacks on our shared humanity. We must never waver in our commitment to protect the freedom to read. Our guest speaker knows very well the importance of representation in books. Marley Diaz is an activist, an author, a contributor, a cultural influencer, a speaker, founder, and producer known for her passionate advocacy for representation across mediums. As a current student at Harvard University, Marley writes for the Harvard Crimson. She also contributes to national publications, including Rolling Stone and X. In response to her fearless work, Marley has spoken at the White House's United States of Women alongside Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey, the Forbes Women's Summit, United Nations Girls Up, Inbound, CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion, the Social Innovation Summit, and several others. She was honored with the Smithsonian Ingenuity Award, also known as the Golden Globes for Intellect, in the youth category in 2017 for her transformative work around representation in literature. Marley was also honored by Time as one of the 25 most influential teens in 2018 and was recognized as the youngest member of the Forbes 30 Under 30 listed to date. In May 2015, at the age of 11, Marley launched the 1,000 Black Girl Books campaign, which aimed at collecting and donating 1,000 books featuring Black girls as the main character to schools and libraries across the United States. The campaign quickly gained national attention, eclipsing its original goal and appearing on Ellen, the BBC News, CBS This Morning, The Today Show, The View, NPR, and more. Individuals from all walks of life helped Marley collect more than, get this, 13,000 books to date, donating them to libraries, schools, and others in need, including in Jamaica, her mother's birthplace. Her first book, Marley Diaz Gets It Done, and So Can You, was published in 2018 and became a New York Times bestseller. The book is a guide for young people who want to make a difference in the world, and it has been praised for its empowering message. We were planning, as I said, on having Marley here in person to deliver her message of inspiration to you, but unfortunately, as I said, she is unable to join us due to testing positive for COVID. So, Marley sent a video, and I'd ask you now to turn your attention to the screens for a message from Marley.
Hi everyone, I'm Marley Diaz. I'm grateful for the invitation, though I regret my inability to join you in person today. I'm in my sophomore year at Harvard studying sociology and African American studies, and I hope I can bring you some bits of knowledge about not only my campaign, but the larger landscape of diverse literature and its power. You may recognize me as the founder of the 1,000 Black Girl Books campaign. My initiative has several key objectives. 1, it serves as my endeavor to share my deep-rooted passion for reading. 2, it aims to ensure that young people, like myself, experience representations in literature. 3, it strives to provide valuable resources for those who are unaware of the existence of books featuring Black girls. And number 4, it communicates a broader message to the world that Black girl stories have universal significance. This campaign's inception traces back to a casual conversation over pancakes with my mom at our local diner. I was 10 years old at the time, and my mom and I discussed the ways to improve the upcoming school year. In words that may already resonate with some of you, I candidly expressed that I was sick of reading about white boys and their dogs. While for many parents this might have been another amusing anecdote during a meal with their child, my mother inspired me to engage and expand this issue to a larger scale. This catalyst led to an amassing of a remarkable collection of 15,000 books featuring Black girls as central characters and protagonists. It also prompted the creation of a comprehensive online database about the global distribution of these books and where to find them. This campaign is not just about the inclusion of Black girl stories, but also the development of windows and mirrors. Reading diverse books can also increase understanding. Books create mirrors and windows for people and communities all across the world. When we are able to see each other's beauty and strengths, we are more likely to see each other's value. And when we can see and appreciate the differences of others, then we are likely to be more understanding. I do this work because I want Black girls to have mirrors of Black greatness in the books they read, and I want all others to look into these windows and into our worlds to know the brave and beautiful achievements of my community in both modern and ancient contexts. The current lack of diversity in children's literature does not consider these issues, and it's frustrating and harmful. Instead, it excludes and it harms. It not only makes us less likely to read, but it also does not help us feel good in the stories that are being told to us and about us. This journey has been a challenging one. It has required harnessing my passions to address a persistent social inequity, and one that is getting worse and more extreme as time passes. Reading is my passion, a privilege that has allowed me to explore books both mirroring my own experiences and those diverging from them. Reading has equipped me with the vocabulary to articulate my feelings, fostering curiosity about the world, and using my voice. My love for reading compelled me to spend countless nights poring over data, videos, and articles concerning the presence of books in classrooms and the reason why some were conspicuously absent. What became evident was that the lack of exclusion of Black girl stories in my education and in these narratives was not a mere oversight, but a reflection of systemic issues within the United States public school system. It resulted from a failure to establish a framework that promotes inclusion of diverse narratives. Schools often prioritize classic literature while neglecting the stories authored by Black, Indigenous, queer, and other racialized minorities who have profoundly contributed to our society, art, and culture. When I started 1,000 Black Girl Books at 10 years old, book banning was the farthest thing from my mind. I would describe the lack of diversity in classrooms as intentional or unintentional exclusion of Black girl stories. Now we've moved into a civil rights crisis that impedes unnecessary historical and social education for children. Understand that, feel that, and hear that. By limiting these stories, we unwittingly restrict our freedom. Literature serves as a gateway to liberty, and reading in particular stands as one of its fundamental pillars. My own journey through reading has empowered me to stand on stages like this one, to talk to you all, and to voice concerns regarding inequity. Depriving children of diverse narratives robs them of the education that liberates them. We've seen across history how the right to read has been weaponized in enslavement, Reconstruction, and civil rights contexts. We are in a new phase of these same sanctions against Black freedom, expression, and our understanding. Oppressive forces have harnessed the power of reading to work against marginalized groups, and it will take a sweeping cultural effort to give young people their histories and their voices back. The same conversation I shared with my mother years ago must echo in diners and dining halls and community centers across this nation and across the world. What initially began as intergenerational exchange of ideas between a 10-year-old and her mom has since transformed into a published book with Scholastic in 2018, the executive production and hosting of an Emmy Award-winning series, Bookmarks, celebrating Black voices in 2020, and an inclusion on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list at the tender age of 12. I'm very proud to be a record holder. While my thoughts and ideas have evolved over the years, I contend that the perspective I held at 10 years old still holds relevance in addressing some of the world's most pressing challenges. As educators and caregivers, it's critical to first believe in the magic of children and to help cultivate that greatness. Children are critical observers of the world who often see and feel many social issues that face our communities. I know I did, and I know so many other kids do too. When we ask insightful questions, encourage curiosity, and let youth know that they can be the change, we can empower youth to move towards social action instead of fear and anger. Generation Z has matured in a world defined by terror, a global pandemic, mass shootings, insurrection, and social unrest. Yet, we've also grown up in a world replete with information at our fingertips, witnessing unprecedented achievements across diverse fields and cultures. Our world today boasts an unparalleled diversity, distinct from the world you experienced during your own childhood. Rather than viewing these disparities with trepidation, recognize that diversity harbors opportunities. The rapid changes in our time equip us with the swiftness to effect positive change. The moment represents an occasion for intergenerational dialogue, something that is so critical to why my campaign exists and why so many movements have functioned and thrived in the past. As adults, you now have the power and possess the power to open doors for young minds. Do not underestimate this influence. Embrace it with enthusiasm. Invest this time to connect with the young people around you, engaging in profound and intricate conversations. One pressing concern perplexing both our generations is the banning of books. When I initiated the 1000 Black Girl Books campaign, I naively assumed that the absence of Black girl stories was accidental. Ironically, it's become abundantly clear that this is very, very deliberate. This poses an unprecedented challenge, and it demands extraordinary collective action. Prohibiting books restricts exposure to new ideas, hindering our capacity to connect, to comprehend, and to innovate. The erasure of history leaves children feeling despondent about change and not seeing the movements of the past. The targets of book bans starkly reflect an effort to efface the narratives of vulnerable and marginalized populations. The consequences are far-reaching, impairing every child's ability to form accurate judgments about the world and themselves. From July 2021 to June 2022, PEN America's Index of School Book Bans lists over 2,500 instances of individual books being banned, affecting over 1,600 unique titles. In light of the pandemic's impact on education, coupled with this surge in book bans, it's evident that intergenerational collaboration is now more vital than ever. Generations older than mine must advocate for diversity, speaking out and in for Board of Education meetings, town halls, community dialogues, family gatherings, and among friends. Champion diverse literature, convey how it has enriched your life, and professionally and personally in all contexts, and show the potency of storytelling to underline that erasing history does not make the future safer. It's adults who are leading the charge to ban books, not children. When generations collaborate, amalgamating Gen Z strategies with the wisdom of Gen X and older generations, we can thwart the efforts to select and curate such few stories on our bookshelves. If you adults expect kids to change the world, to save climate change, to control AI, or fix race relations, we are rapidly losing the necessary tools to do so. And I know clearly in a room and in a space like this, I may be preaching to the choir. So I ask for all of you to break your bubble. Each of us has a privilege to go to a bookstore right now and to identify, afford, and read the stories that are being banned in classrooms. In fact, I'm sure many of you could text or email or know banned book authors and banned book storytellers in your communities now. That is the biggest issue with book banning. It widens educational gaps, erases history, and makes folks like us who have access become a new form of educational elites. This stratification was designed by white supremacists and by capitalists. They've commodified education, and they know just as we do that literacy would mean freedom. I'm honored to be in partnership with the National Education Association and the Grassroots Community Foundation as we take a bottom-up approach to book banning. It is so important to me, and I've learned so much in this process. We will continue to have banned book clubs. We will add banned books to free little libraries, and we will put more free little libraries at bus stops and community centers for the people who need it most. The work ahead demands that we focus on communities where residents cannot walk to their public libraries. We must be in schools with voter registration drives. We must protect the freedom to read. Finally, if the questions are what to do and when to do it, the answers are the time is to act now and always. Books provide the answers to this question. Let's use our freedom, use our access, and use our stories to grant literacy, power, and freedom for all. Thank you so much.